the best crop in a number of years, officials said. It's not unusual to finish a peanut season with very good production in some places, but this season's yields were quite good on a uniform basis across all regions in Argentina. The Argentina crop now will compete against the U.S. from the old crop and new crop, as some are still in cold storage, and they'll be competing against the U.S. for that European market. I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Need a mailbox rental but need more information? Remember, Personal Service Center, 789-6683. How does $10 a month sound with just a 3-month commitment? Remember, Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Mention WOCA and the setup fee is waived. Personal Service Center will email or text notifications to you when your packages arrive. Even scan mail so you never actually have to pick it up. Now that's service. Personal Service Center, 789-6683. Located on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street, Ocala. Look for the yellow signs.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
There may be another reason our pets are getting fat. Because no matter how much food we give our pets, they still control how much they consume, right? Enjoy some guacamole. Experts say avocado has healthy, unsaturated fat, which can lower your bad cholesterol. Women say they want a man who watches football but also loves shopping and who's not afraid to cry during movies. It would seem that women have high expectations when it comes to the perfect man.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
All right, 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Today is the third day of school in our community. Not just the public schools, but also the colleges in the town, right?
Yes.
From the way I understand it. Or I think some of them started Monday and some start next Monday. But either way, it's the beginning of the year. And one of the things that, you get a flashback every time you talk about school, because school is such a huge part of your life. And in our day, Robin, it was. I don't know if it was just as much of a challenge to come up with a way to pay for college as it is now. But it seemed like it was a big challenge when we were younger. And I remember when my son went to college. Now he's already almost 30, so even he's been out of college for almost a decade already. That's hard to believe, isn't it? But it just seems like it's getting harder and harder. We have some folks from the local schools that come in here all the time and talk about the college grants and the money opportunities. On the phone is William Elliott III. I was reading a little bit about William, and apparently he was not from a rich home. He had to figure out a way to go through college, as many of us do. It sounds like he had some sports talents as well that he was able to use, and that's always a nice way to use your talent in a way that'll get you your academic studies under your belt. But he's teamed up with a lady, and her name is, do I have her name here?
Melinda Lewis.
Melinda Lewis, and I guess she was kind of more affluent in her younger days,
yes.
Or her parents were, and so her experience getting into school was not exactly the same as William's. But together they have written a book called The Real College Debt Crisis: How Student Borrowing Threatens Financial Well-Being and Erodes the American Dream. William, by the way, now is an associate professor and the director of the Center for Assets, Education, and Inclusion in the School of Social Welfare at the University of Kansas, and he's the recipient of the Distinguished Recent Contributions in Social Work Education Award. Again, the book is titled The Real College Debt Crisis. William, good morning, sir.
Great to be here, Larry. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Kansas right now, so I'm calling from Kansas, Lawrence, Kansas.
All right. How long ago did you go to school?
Well, I just graduated from my PhD about 5 years ago.
Well, good for you. Well, and it sounds like you really had a struggle. Were you able to take advantage of any of the loans that were out there?
Yeah, I took advantage of all the loans that were all the federal loans at the very least. Yes, that's one of the major ways that I helped pay for college.
So are there better loans than others? Is a federal loan, for example, better than, I don't even know how to ask the question, but a non-federal loan?
Certainly, yeah. The federal loans come with a lower interest rate and a little more forgiveness than the private loans do. And private loans typically require a higher credit score and family support when you get them. The
word forgiveness is an interesting word when it comes to borrowing money, because if you enter into school knowing that you've borrowed money from a government agency that often grants forgiveness, you might be misled. Am I right with that?
Well, no, yeah, certainly not forgiveness in the sense of you get off the hook in some way from paying it, because it's very hard to go into bankruptcy or any of those kind of things with student loans. It's almost impossible.
Okay, yeah.
To get rid of the loans.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I got that out.
But they do delay them. Yeah,
So-
they do delay them and stuff like that.
So you and your co-author contribute.
Melinda.
I'm sorry, Melinda. I'm
Melinda.
sorry. I just don't have it. I have to look at my other notes. But anyway, you guys put together the book. In studying this, is the landscape, the financial landscape for college students, worse now than it was 5 years ago, or even in our case, it would have been 40 years ago?
Well, no, I think it is. I mean, but that's just kind of like common knowledge at this point that college costs are rising at an exponential rate. And one of the reasons is because states are disinvesting in higher education, and people want more amenities at colleges, and colleges are spending more on amenities.
So you say the financial state right now, the loan system is in crisis. Give us an example of how it is, and is there an answer to this problem?
Well, I think we think about it differently than most people. Typically, when they think about the student, they think about high debt, so the amount of money that kids are borrowing, or they think about default rates. But we really looked at it from the standpoint of the ability of a college degree to pay off, in some sense, and to pay off equitably. And so what I mean by that is so we found that students who graduate with debt have less net worth. They buy homes later in life, and they have less equity in those homes. They delay marriage. They delay retirement savings, so they have less retirement savings. And these are some of the kinds of things that we looked at and thought about with regard to college debt.
Well, how is a student going to go to college unless they get scholarships and loans? Because usually the good student, when they do have these loans, they know that they're going to have to pay it back once they graduate.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a matter of knowledge. I mean, good students or bad students all know they have to pay it back. It's a matter of the education system serving as an equalizer in society, in the sense of, and it's supposed to be the great equalizer in society, that if I go to college and I have debt and I have effort and ability and I do well, I should receive similar kinds of outcomes as someone else who has similar kinds of effort and ability when they leave college. And so by turning towards debt as the primary way in which we're helping students finance college, we've reduced degree for these students, and that's problematic for our system and our society.
One of the candidates, Hillary Clinton, has made some proposals that she would like to see put in place. Can you help us understand what they are, and are they good ideas? What do you think about them?
Well, it's really a hodgepodge of a lot of things. One of those ideas, I think, has particular merit, and that is the idea of requiring states, in order to receive federal dollars, to start reinvesting in higher education, right? Because one of the reasons college costs are skyrocketing, really the primary reason, is because of disinvestment in higher education by states. And we need states to, once again, reinvest in higher education. So I think that's a really good idea. She also talks about free college. And I think the idea of free college makes a lot of sense. And maybe part of Robin's question earlier I didn't answer was, what's the alternative? Mm-hmm. And so one of the alternatives is this idea of free college. But I think how we get to free college can look very differently. One way is just to say everybody goes to college for free. Another way we talk about is children's savings accounts and having families save along the way to pay for college, but then also thinking about something like the Pell Grant, putting it into these accounts so that kids can have that money to leverage and save against when they enter college.
Right. Florida has a prepaid college program. I know several states have something similar. And a lot of people use that, and the dollar amount today is always less than it will be 20 years from today or 18 years from today when your son or daughter goes to college. And it's a really good idea, and I hope that our listeners are aware of that. Let me ask you this, since we're up against the clock and we have to move forward. Can you, first, how do we get the book, The Real College Debt Crisis, and do you have a website you can recommend?
Yeah, I recommend Amazon.com to be the simplest way that most people are familiar with. It's available there, and they can get a copy there.
Okay, easy enough. And does it act as not just a book, but I mean, is it an information resource? Like, will it give us? Does the book give us other websites and other avenues to study more about debt, especially regarding college debt?
There's a ton of information in it. I don't think it provides a lot of websites, but there's a lot of information in it about student debt and the problems around debt. We are doing a new book that will provide a lot more of those kind of websites that you're talking about that's for high school students.
Okay, and I just realized I have a book here, so let me give away this one. If you'd like the copy of the book that was sent to us, it's called The Real College Debt Crisis. It's written by William Elliott III and Melinda K. Lewis. And you can come pick it up here if you call me and tell me you want it. We only have one, though, so the rest of us have to go buy it. William, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thanks a lot, Larry and Robin.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.